the candle lighting ceremony is an important part of Kwanzaa, of the Kwanzaa celebration, and a big part of the history. I just want to reiterate two things very quick. When we think about the Mkeka is our what? Foundation, the straw mat, that's exactly right, but it's our foundation. And what is our foundation? Our foundation is who we are as an African people, right? And so our foundation is how do we treat our elders, how do we treat our youth, what we do and what we do not do, the things that we subscribe to as a people. And oftentimes you can find this continent-wide, right? As the Bible was saying that there are different ethnic groups inside of Africa. However, there's a lot of practices that stretch and expand clear across Africa, right? And two of them is how we treat our elders, how we treat our children, our babies, right? And then the understanding of the greatest good for the greatest number, right? This is not an American concept. An American concept is that I get mine and whatever I can get and not ask concern about who else get what, right? But that ain't African. Can I use the word ain't? We good with that? Ain't? Okay. All right, so but that ain't African because we need to be clear. We work under the principle of the greatest good for the greatest number, right? And so when we look at the Nguzo Sable, which are the seven principles, which the Mishimu Sable represents, the seven candles represent, right? We have to understand that our foundation is what we as a people, the Kanara, right? That original stock of African people, who we are, that we have embedded these Nguzo Saba, these seven principles inside of us. And so when you see the seven candles representing the seven principles, one for each day, then you see the Kanara and you see the Mcheka, you should see and understand you have the foundation of who we are, what we are as an African people, and then our morals and values that's bred into us, right? And that's the essence of that piece, if you will, right? And then of course you have the other symbols that I think Bobby you've already talked about, if I'm not mistaken, gave up. So during the Kwanzaa ceremony, what we do is on day one we light the black candle in the middle for Umoja. Everybody want to try to say that?
Umoja.
It sounds like I'm in the right group, so cool, we're in the right place. And then that, of course, is unity, and we've already talked about unity, as Baba Eddie was saying, that this is about the oneness of us, and that's real talk. And until we get to a place where we can get back to chastising each other's children, right? Everybody with me? So we done lost that. It was like, that's my baby, don't touch my baby, don't say nothing to my baby, right? But what do we know as Africans? It takes a village to raise a child. And in the absence of that village, that child thinks the only time that it has to act accordingly is when it's in your presence, which is unheard of as it relates to being African. And so when we talk about Umoja, we're talking about to strive and maintain unity in the family, nation, community, and the race, right? It is paramount, family, that we understand that now is the time more than ever for us to circle our wagons as African people, as black people, right? And make a determination of who we are going to allow to be in that circle. Everybody with me? Because we do not have this sacredness of our space, we usually let a lot of people into our space. And then what did Malcolm say? If you drink coffee, you add too much cream, what happens to it? Somebody, it gets weak, right? And so you start letting people come into your space and bringing their foreign ideals and their foreign ways, you stop being African, you start being something else. And years from now, you won't even recognize it. Everybody good with that? And so that's Umoja. So after you light the first candle on December 26th for Umoja, the next day is Kuji Chagalia. Everybody want to try to say that real quick?
Kuji Chagalia.
Kuji Chagalia. Kuji Chagalia speaks to our right to self-determination. That is, to speak for ourselves, define ourselves, and do for ourselves instead of having those things done for us by others, right? When we think about politics today, and I don't know who was here, the truth don't change based on who's in the room, but we are holding the Democratic Party responsible now for a lot of immigrants inside of our community, right? And for whatever that means to whoever that it means it to, right? But when we start thinking about Kuji Chagalia, the question becomes who in the Democrat or the Republican Party, right, subscribe to the people and not the party.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about the people over the party, then you start seeing different results. Because if they was thinking about the people, that is us, black people, right, then some of the policies that they have assigned to and adopted what they would have never done because it was not in our interest.
Right.
Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Right.
And so we have to get real serious about Coochie Chocolate. Some of the old heads, probably Baba Taimba, will probably say that Coochie Chocolate is his favorite of the principles. I don't know. We didn't have a check-in before this happened. And the reason being is because Coochie Chocolate speaks to our ability to empower ourselves, our ability to define what's beautiful for us. I was at a Sable, and they had Indigo Nation School, an orchestra of all black children playing violins and great. And I'm like, prior to seeing these black children with natural hair and everything up there doing, what is that music called? Symphony music. I never was really into symphony music, but seeing them black children up there do that, it gave me a new appreciation for it, right? And they was doing it. They did Little Every Voice and Sing, they did another song, then they did Purple Rain, if you can imagine that. Yeah, they damned it though, they really did. But that's what Coochie Chocolate, self-determination, gives us without question. We are able to define our own reality, and we don't need nobody else to define it for us. And this tells us, especially for young people, that I need to be bold enough in my own truth that I can wear African clothes. Not just doing Kwanzaa, not just doing Black History Month, but any and every day that I want to wear African clothes. And so when somebody tells you come and dress formal, I'm always in African garb, right? They tell me come and dress casual, I'm always in African garb, because that is what I have decided for myself. And this is what Coochie Chocolate does for us. And we have to be bold enough to walk in our own truth and not somebody else's truth, right? Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
All right. So the first day we would light the black candle for emoji. The second day we would do Coochie Chocolate. Then we would go back to the green, and we would continue to alternate like that, back to red and green, until eventually the last day we would do the green. So today being the third day, again, the first day we lit on the 26th, Umoja. The second day yesterday we lit Coochie Chocolate, and then today we will light Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. Ujima. Family. If you think this is an easy task, there's work to be done. There's work to be done. There's time that we have to spend with our children, our young men. How old are you, young man? If you don't mind asking. 17. You look good, brother, for 17. I was literally thinking you was about 14 or 15, little brother. So, yeah. And so, right, look, and height only matters, right? But it's at this young warrior's age that these people are out of their minds right now, right?
No, you're right.
And so the work that we have to do is give him alternatives to understand that there is beauty in being African, because ain't nobody talking about that enough. And so they shun away from that. And this is the one saving grace that we have as a people, to embrace who we are as an African people and embrace our culture. Because this other mess is driving our children to prison and to graveyards, right?
Yeah,
right,
early too.
And sometimes you have these children that does good in school and whatnot, but the last thing that they're concerned about is being black. And that's really sad, you know. And then we have this thing of the brain drain and everything, where they take our biggest and brightest minds outside of our community. And when they come back to our community, they are interested in absolutely nothing that got to do with us. And they're trying to figure out how they can be a greater service to these white people that comes in to exploit our community. Can we be honest today for a little while? You got to understand, sometimes Dr. Amos Wilson calls it the retardation of our African mind. We'll send our brightest child off to these people, to ITT and others, and they'll come back with their science, as Dr. Wilson said, retarded, thinking in ways that we as African people do not think. But a foreign mind only works for who, Baba? A foreigner. Yeah, and then inside of our children, we find that these people are implanting these foreign minds and these foreign ideals, and this is why it's so important when we start talking about circling our wagon. Now, I will ask, are we going through all 7 principles today? We are. Okay, cool. Yes, sir. Say that again, Baba. Being black is being yourself, your authentic self. Your authentic self. And because, and to that point, I'm gonna move straight past that. We have to understand that there are 3 types of culture that move about. It's the dominant culture, which we understand is WASP, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? And then it's the subculture, that is like the Indians and the Pakistanis and people like that come into the community, and we still see them practicing their cultural norms. And then it's reactionary culture. And in reactionary culture, you react to your circumstances, and black folks are reactionary, unfortunately, right? And so we have to be very mindful and very careful that when we talk about this is black culture, right, is that you have given birth to, born out of despair, right? Now, like blues is born out of despair, but blues speaks to what? Continuing the process of life. And so it's easy. Ask yourself, when something is created by black people, does it sustain life? Do it perpetuate goodness? Does it perpetuate goodness? And if it does not, it's not real culture, it's reactionary culture. Do that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so we have to be clear on that. So after Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, tomorrow is Ujamaa. This store, I understand, is closing today, and this is the last day or sometime in the real near future. And again, this is and I stay on the west side, west of the west side. Don't hate me for that. Or are you K-Town or L-Town? Holy City, yeah, you close enough. Right.
From the Holy City.
But this is a beautiful piece. So you have these little pop-ups and what's the name for these marketplaces, right? You have these, and this one from what I can see at my height is like red, black, and green all the way back to the wall. And so this is a really beautiful thing. And this is, again, when I talk about Kwanzaa and I talk about Black History Month and I talk about something that you have to wear, if you don't have any clothes in your closet that's African, why is that? Somebody? Because you ain't brought none. Stop doing all that thinking. Because you ain't brought none. It ain't that complex. It ain't that, right? It ain't that highly developed thinking. You have not brought any. And again, we have to get strong enough, family, to where we can spend our money with each other doing black things, right? We have to get strong enough doing that. Because when it's time to be African, we need to show up as African. Again, as Bible's point, I can show up in non-African clothes and still be African, being my authentic self, as the Bible was saying, right? It speaks volume, however, to be able to show up in African clothes, because guess what? You're not looking like your former master. Can I be honest for a little while? When you dress up in black ties and shirts and you start looking like a penguin, right? The only thing that's missing is the wobble, right? No, and I'm joking with that, but be clear, family. The reason why these people do not honor us is because they used to own us. Do everybody understand? Yep. Stephen Biko said, and I'm gonna try to wrap up, Mom. Stephen Biko said that the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor are the minds of the oppressed. Yes. And when they see us in African clothes, they know they ain't got us no more. When you walk up and you have some strange name, they want to know, where did that name come from? What do that name mean? You wouldn't have never asked me that if my name was Tommy. Are you comfortable with Tommy? Everybody with me? And so again, our greatest act of defiance is our culture. And in us sharing economic wealth and supporting things to bring into our house, bring into our life, that Ujamaa, cooperative economics, is the biggest thing that we can do to help spread that. Because you're not going to Amazon just to buy an African garment. Don't do it. Don't let me find out that you've done it. Don't go to Amazon and buy, Canara or no red, black, and green candles if you got a red, black, and green candle maker. Everybody with me? This becomes, if you're looking for Africa, don't put nothing in your house African that you don't went and grabbed from Ross. And then when you turn it over, it says clearly made in China, right? We gotta stop, family. We gotta stop. And trust me, they are mass producing it because they understand that there are black people that want it, so let us give it to them. Everybody good? So you have Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Then we come back to the green, and we have NIA. Purpose. What is our purpose, right? What was it that we come here for? And to the young people, you have to understand that you came here with a specific purpose, and that if you don't fulfill that purpose, it won't get done, because it came with you. And that's everybody else as we live and walk through our life, through this time and space, right? We come here with a purpose, and we have to fulfill that purpose, whatever that purpose is, right? And those things, the easy way to find your purpose is those things that make you feel the best, that make you feel your best, right? Rather spending time mentoring people, teaching people dance, teaching people languages, sharing things about building stuff. Baba is a master drummer. When I say a master drummer, not only does he play drums, but he also make drums, right? The brother, I would say that's a big part of his purpose, as he have influenced literally hundreds, maybe even thousands, in fact thousands, because the brother is internationally known, thousands of people with the drum. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to find our purpose, our need, right? And so once we find our purpose, we have to use our kuumba, our kuumba to make that purpose come to life. We have to be creative in what it is that we do, right? One of the things that Kuumba speaks to is using our creativity to leave the world in a more beautiful place than we inherited, right? And so, again, when we pour libations and we think about those who came before us, right? And then we think about those that will come after us, those that will inherit our legacy, those that will either love us for the work that we did or despise us for the work that we did not do and is left undone. How many things have we inherited from our parents that they did not get done? Right? And it's not necessarily just because they didn't try, right? But as much as it was that the enemy was stronger than they were. And this is why we got to build up in who we are. And being who we are is a big part of being African. That's the greatest weapon that you can oppose these people with. But what did they do? They beat the African out of you, right? Right? At the whipping post, right? They said you was not Kunta Kinte, you was Toby, right? They told you you couldn't play your drum and you couldn't speak your language. They took that from you under the lash of the whip. We got to get that back. And getting that back is the greatest opposition that we can have to these people. There go. And then, of course, we come to the final green candle of Imani, faith. We got to believe that not only that this fight of our humanity is legitimate, but that we will win it. Right? Yes. Maybe not in my lifetime, maybe not in Baba's lifetime, maybe not even in your lifetime, but Franz Fanon said that each generation out of relative obscurity either fulfill or betray its mission. And so you got to do what you can do in this window of life, well, this piece that we call life that you have. No more, no life. Excuse me, no more, no less. There goes Santa Baba. So Imani is the faith of thinking and knowing, right, that this is going to be all right. But don't be that faithful person that y'all remember the old joke where the flood came and the young man, we're going to blame it on me, and the original joke had a woman in it. But we're going to blame it on men. And they warned everybody to leave. And the young man said, no, the Lord is going to make a way. Then the little rowboat came past and said, come on, everybody is leaving, come on, get on the boat. Said, no, the Lord is going to make a way, right? The water went on the ride. They sent a much bigger boat. Said, come on, get on the boat. He said, no, the Lord going to make a way, right? Water got up over the house. They sent the helicopter. Said, hey, last call, right? It's okay, the Lord is going to make a way. They ended up drowning and dying, right? Because they was of good faith. They went to heaven, right? Whatever that means, right? So they in heaven, and they have just one question for God. Lord, what happened? I thought you would always make a way. The Lord looking at them like, fool, I sent the boat, right? And so we don't want to be that type of blind faith. We have to know that we got work to put in to bring this to fruition. Everybody good with that? And so, are we going to actually light the candles? Yep. We got two children with us. You? And it's commonplace to use children in this process, as this is how we pass the torch of saints, right? I'm just trying to get that to stand up a little bit. So we're going to just light the first three then? We're going to light the first three? Okay, so where's the lighter? Oh, you got the lighter used? Okay, then you can start with Umoja. I want you to say Umoja Unity. And step over here.
Umoja Unity.
Well, y'all give the babies a round of applause. Come on now. Y'all can make more noise than that. Yay! Take your time, it's all right.
Thank you.
That's what happens when you shop from China. There we go. It's probably just out of gas. Umoja. You say that for me one more time?
Umoja Unity.
Y'all give her a strong round of applause. And then we're gonna give her the title. You're gonna like this first red one. And I want you to say Kuchi Chaku Leah. Very good. No. Get started. Now you gonna put your feet on. I actually think I'm glad you don't know how to operate right. God, our hands. Say it one more time, Kuchi Chakalia.
Gucci chocolate.
Very good, very good. You're gonna like this, have her hold your hand again, like this first ring, and you're gonna say Kuchi.
Uzima. Collective work and responsibility.
Very good, very good. Very good. And so that's our lighting ceremony. If there's any questions,